Going through fishing tackle, like I always do. Actually, I'm building a few baits today, painting some baits for some guys. Here to tell y'all right now about crankbait fishing. If you don't have boxes and boxes and boxes of crankbaits like this, you ain't gonna catch no bass. Give it up, forget it, don't worry about it. And that's a lie. I'll be right back and I'll tell you why. Okay, crankbaiting for beginners, I guess. I could have called this crankbaits for dummies because I am one. Love a crankbait. Crankbait is another 12-month lure like the spinnerbait or the jig. It's just, there's no month that you can't catch bass on a crankbait. And it is right alongside the live rubber jig for me as being the most versatile bait that there is for bass 12 months out of the year. But it can be confusing. That box I just showed y'all, I've got 12 or 15 boxes like that full. Plus I've got buckets, I've got totes, I've got boxes right over here. I don't know why. There's no reason for it except I've been doing this for a lot of years and I've got a collection. I have gotten a little bit more specific on my baits over the years, and there are things that I use specific baits for that would be, I think, help me catch more bass, but it's not necessary, especially if you're new to crankbait fishing. Or you want to rethink your crankbait fishing. I tell you, these kind of videos that say for beginners and basic stuff, I've always liked to watch on YouTube because it's amazing some things you can pick up and things you hadn't thought about or had forgot about. So simple, simple, simple. If you just want to have a few crankbaits or you want to step back and rethink your approach to crankbaits, it takes a couple of three kinds. You have to have shallow runners, which we call square bills generally. You have to have deep runners, which are a huge whole gamut. Don't make it hard. I am a square bill freak. I catch bass on square bill. I've caught them 12 months out of the year. The square bill. Obviously the name is because it's got a, well, go figure, right? I have these in several configurations, designs, whatever, but basically it's a bait that's only going to dive, depending on line test, 5 or 6 feet. There may be some go deeper, and I can make them go deeper, but that's not the point. The point is, I want a bait that works that 1 to 4 or 5 foot zone really well, and that's what these do. I would suggest anybody in the world to get them in 2 sizes. If you could, get 3 colors or so each in 2 sizes. We used to call them 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, 3/8 ounce. Now it's all this 1.5, 2.5 metric, whatever. It's Japanese, I guess. Is that how many inches? Whatever. That little one right there is like the first crankbait I ever owned was a Big O, Cordell Big O, which was the first alphabet style crankbait ever developed and called a crankbait. We used to call them plugs. I didn't call them crankbaits for years. We were plugs. We was going plugging. I had my first crankbait rod was a plugging rod. Whatever. That's that little, what is that? That's a 1.5, I guess, compared to its little bit bigger brethren. I like both those sizes. There are fatter ones, there's thinner ones, whatever. If I had to go throw one bait anywhere in the country, any given time of year, it'd be hard not to take that little crankbait right there with me. In whatever colors I did choose to throw it in. Step back a second. Colors. I'm horrible at these videos. I need a big old checklist. I need a board. I need a prompter. I need somebody to slap me upside the head. Colors. Colors suck. Colors are taken way too far. But, that being said, other than jigs and especially plastic baits where colors, where they get a chance to really look at a bait and colors are more important maybe, probably least important in top waters. Spinner baits, buzz baits, not as important, although I throw different colors, of course. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I am a hypocrite. Anyway, colors. Crankbaits, especially in clear water, which crankbaits work everywhere from pure mud to ultra clear. I like to have a generalization of colors, and I'm going to keep that pretty simple. This video is going to suck. Colors. You need the brim, the sunfish, the bluegill. Bass eat sunfish, perch, whatever. They eat them year round. The blues, the silvers, the chartreuse, the red breasted type things. It is a guaranteed thing. It'd be hard for me to say that wouldn't be the one bait I would throw. But I was thinking about this a while ago, how to put this across to people. Yeah, boy, it's awful hard not to have that shad. The silver-sided, black-back, whatever. This one got a little olive belly. I don't know what I was thinking. This one I made, of course. You know, a little different crankbait altogether than what I've showed so far. But anyway, a black-back, silver-side, shad, alewife, herring, whatever. Man, you got to have some of those. And in both sides, I'd say, too. Then again, look at that poor beat-up thing. A crawdad. Guys, bass eat crawdads 12 months out of the year. It ain't just a winter-spring thing. They tear up crawdads in the summertime, especially when the crawdads start their spawn and they get soft shells. And so, you got to have crawdads. It's not rocket science. Of course, we all know about the reds. The reds do work. I've thrown the reds since the 80s. So, a brim sunfish pattern, a shad silver side pattern, and some sort of brown green crawdad. Those three are just pretty much cover it. I can't believe I'm talking so much about color. Except then you get into this. Especially in the summer, or in any time there's dirty water, I like the oranges and the chartreuse. I like the canary colors. Man, from the post-spawn till about the end of July, that is, for whatever reason, that turns bass on like crazy. Catch them year-round on it. So the chromes, shads, the crawdads, the some sort of brim sunfish pattern, and maybe a few chartreuse baits. Oh, and then, I'll never get this bait out. Another one, I ain't the right one. Good enough. Another one I love to throw, and I caught the heck out of them last year, is a baby bass. Because from May on into early fall, there's a lot of bass get at by bass. And that lateral, that dark line, it's not a lateral line, the stripe down the side of a black bass, a largemouth bass, is pretty distinctive. For a fish identifying a target, it's kind of hard to pass up that. I don't really care for crappie colors as much, although bass obviously eat crappie, so that was way too much on colors. Keep it, if you have to have just two colors, go brim or shad and crawdad. If you have to have 4 crankbaits, a deep diver, a shallow diver in each one, go some sunfish and go with a crawdad. Wait a minute. Is that what I said a minute ago? Cut. I gotta rethink this. Did I mention that I hate colors? Golly. I could take this crankbait and that crankbait there anywhere in the country and catch all the bass I need to catch a bunch of months out of the year. Okay? Luckily, I have options. I'm going to keep a crawdad, shad, and I'm going to keep it all. Real quick, back to the stupid thing I didn't do right to start with is the shallow runners, the square bills. A medium running crankbait is, I've got them that are specifically medium running, but you can make a shallow running crankbait run deeper with longer casts and lighter line. You can make a The biggest, deepest diving crankbait runs shallower with heavy line or hold rod up high. I very rarely specifically tie on a medium running crankbait. I've kind of got away from it. I've got some different size crankbaits that have a tendency to run shallower than others. But don't get too shook up on that. Don't get shook up on having to have the massive ones. Like every time I say crankbait down here, it's getting hung up on another one. I've only got 10 of them out. I don't even know what that is. That's one of those modern. I don't have a lot of modern crankbaits. Most of my stuff's old school. I can't read what that says. Is that? Yeah, that's a modern big old humper. There's different actions, there's different wobbles, and all that can come into play. Don't get shook up on it yet. But very few people need a crankbait that will dive 15, 25 foot deep, whatever that one's supposed to dive to. These old Poes in that 400 series, that thing I can get down 12, 14 foot on 10 or 12 pound line. That I consider anything past about 8 foot deep, 7, 8 foot deep is a deep diving crankbait. Don't get shook up over it. My favorite over the years, I'll never get one out of this box, is the DD22s. Oh, there's one come out. That Norman DD22, they still make them to this day. It's kind of a harder bait to throw, a harder bait to crank in, but boys, that fish catching weapon. And 12, maybe 15 foot's about as deep as I'm going to get one. I'm going to catch a lot of bass on that bait. Most crankbaits I've been showing so far are the guppies, the rounder bodies. I don't have any of my flat sides out here. One crankbait that I really like a lot, I caught a lot of bass on my YouTube videos last year on it, was the flat-sided baits. Flat-sided baits throw off a whole different kind of vibration of water. They actually move maybe technically more water than a round side. Round side maybe have a bigger wobble. But the flat side, since it's hitting the water like this, it's a whole different vibration. And I found that once in a while, several times a year, I'll pick that thing up and it will do me better. Now, how much better is better? If I'm catching 50 bass a day on a crankbait, which happens a lot, and I can go to that flat side and catch 60 bass, that's an improvement. I don't get shook up over it. Most of my flat-sided baits, matter of fact, pretty much all of them are shallow running, square bill, coffin bill style baits. A lot of them are the cedar custom made type stuff. If you have a chance to experiment with your crankbait fishing, you try a flat side. It's different. I've caught them in clear water on it, I've caught them in dirty water on it, but it's pretty simple. I've already strayed way too far. This thing's got too long. Keep it simple. Colors don't matter as much as retrieves. Retrieves don't matter as much maybe as the size of the bait, matching the hatch. I throw the smaller baits, the bigger baits, and once in a while I throw a wally gopper, big old hunker like that. Mostly I'm throwing a 1.5 to 3 inch bait. And that gets it done for me. Most all the time. It's just pretty rare. Anything else bigger would be like a swim bait type deal. And swim baits are not crankbaits. So keep it simple. This is not about tackle, this is about the baits. I throw most of my crankbaits on 10, 12 pound line most of the time. I've been throwing these big hunkers. I started throwing them on 30 pound braid a couple years ago, and I've got more experimenting to do with that. But that 30 pound braid is like 8, 10 pound diameter, and besides the fact you don't lose as many baits that way, I was kind of impressed with that. I have more experimenting to do. So simple, simple, simple. Sunfish, the brim colors, crawdads, the shads, a baby bass, chartreuse, orange, bright. Crawdads, red, greens, browns. Wow. And I've got all of them, and I don't, it's just horrible. It's horrible how many times I go fishing, and whatever bait I start the day with is the one I end the day with. I don't do a lot of experimenting. I own literally 1,000+ crankbaits, and I don't experiment. Probably all on me. So there you go, guys. Hope it helps somebody somewhere. These videos aren't huge. I get it, but I was sitting here. It's another kind of nasty day. Early May. It's in the 50s. I've got work I've been doing. I'm getting ready to fire the smoker up and cook for everybody for tonight. And I thought I'd talk a little about crankbait fishing. There you go. I'm Dale Verts. Thanks for watching. I'm not very bright, but I can catch bass on a crankbait. So can you. See y'all later. Bye.